Every Friday morning at 9 Pacific, I host a 1-hour Does It Pencil masterclass. Every session is a new idea about how to make the right decisions about money, wealth, and your future. You can listen to the presentation on Spotify or YouTube, or you can join us by visiting doesitpencil.com and going to the masterclass page. Thanks. What MIRR does is it validates the IRR by introducing two rates. Now, these are rates that you bring into the equation. You do not solve for them. So one's called a safe rate, and one is called a reinvestment rate. So here's the basic idea behind safe and reinvestment rates. A safe rate is the rate that you know you can earn. Okay, we used to call it passbook savings or a bond yield or whatever. It's a low number, but you know you can get it. The reinvestment rate is a higher number because you can take those cash flows and get them to earn more for you. So what you do with these two rates is this. If you have any negative cash flows in your T account, you discount those back to time period 0 using the safe rate, simple time value of money. Any positive cash flows you have in the middle of your T, you compound forward at the reinvestment rate, okay? So this is the example that's in the book. This is what would happen. So this $12,000 would get compounded forward at the 10% rate, and you would solve for future value. This $15,000 would also get compounded forward at the 10% rate and solve for future value. This negative $8,500 would get discounted back to time 0 at the safe rate, and you would solve for present value. So this would be 2% of the book, the problem in the book, and solve for PV, okay? So if you were to do those things by hand, this is what you would end up with. A T account that would look like this. At time 0, you would have 108,009 negative. Time period 1, you'd have 0 because you compounded it forward. Time period 2, you would have 0 because you compounded it forward. Time period 3, you have 0 because you discounted it back. And we'd be left with in time period 4, when you add these three together, is you'd have 209,122. So what happens when you do MIRR by hand, obviously it's faster on the spreadsheet, is that you're scrubbing the middle of the T. You're zeroing the middle of the T out, so you just have one negative at time 0 and one positive at the end, okay? So let's go ahead and use the 10B2 and solve for that on cash flows. As always, one gold key payment, gold clear. So go to the cash flow menu. So I'm going to type in 108,009 negative. Now I have 3 sequential cash flow entries of 0. 0, number of times 3. Make another row, tap in 209,122. Number of times is 1. I'm going to back out, and now I'm just going to solve for the internal rate of return. Gold key, IRR per year. So the MIRR is actually 17.96%. Now I'm going to show you something else here. Clear the calculator. Because you've zeroed out everything in the middle with MIRR, if you don't want to use the cash flow menu, you don't have to. You can use regular time value of money. And so it would work like this. One gold key payment, gold clear. You would put in 108,009 negative PV, 209,122 positive FV, 4 gold key N, and you would solve your IYR. So I'm already on one payment per year, clear it. 108009 negative PV, 4 gold N, and then 209122 is FV, solve for IYR. You get the exact same answer.